Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for Coffee and Card. So this is our final week using the Alphabest set. So this is the Alphabet stamp set which comes with the little punch. And we've had 3 weeks using the stamp set in a lot of different ways, and this is our final week. So this card was inspired by another Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I will put her details in the comments. I've adapted it a little bit compared to how she'd done it, but I like the idea of the coloured strips, and actually it's a great one for using up scraps, so you could even do it with scraps of DSP as well, so works really well. So I've done them in 2 different ways, by using my strips going smallest to largest this way, or strips largest to smallest that way, and then obviously you pop birthday down in the opposite corner, so you can choose which way you want to do it. You could even experiment with alternating the strips so that they're in different sizes, and then your happy will be sort of juxtaposed a bit more, so up to you what you want to have a go at. So let's get started. So we've got a C6 card base, which is half of an A4 sheet and then scored at 10.5 centimetres. And this is basic grey. And then I have cut strips of card which measure about 1.5 centimetres, just double check that, in width. And then the distances vary of how long they are to get that gradual progression up. So again, I'll list all of this in the comments for you, but our smallest one, which is our red, is 6 centimetres. Then we have orange next, and that one you can see is 7. Then yellow. This one I did slightly bigger than 8. You would think it would follow the pattern of 8, but I did 8.5. And then green is 10. And our blue is 12. So they just vary slightly. They're not perfectly kind of as you would imagine, but the gradient of it kind of falls in the right way that we want. So we just need to decide which way around we're going to do it anyway. And then if you line up your cards on your grid paper, you're going to position them so that they've got roughly 0.5 centimetre gap in between each one. So I'm going to leave 0.5 centimetre, which is equivalent of 1 square on my grid paper between that one, then another 0.5 between the orange. I've gone in the standard colours of the rainbow. Then the next one, and the next one, and then the next one. So hopefully by the time you've got those all on there, you should have roughly the same amount of spacing between each one. So you can leave them on there and remove one at a time, or you can just take them all off, which I think is what I'm going to do. And then just with those, I just stuck them down with Tombow. So a little bit of Tombow. And then, like I say, just use the grid lines to help you to line everything up. Make sure my card's lined up first of all. This is my red first of all. And orange. So this does take a little bit of prep time to get everything cut ready, but once you've got everything cut, actually assembling the card is quite straightforward. You also don't need to worry if you're not entirely perfect with your spacing, but just make sure that you try as much as possible to keep them straight. So make sure they're in line with one another. So that's got those all positioned. So I'm just now going to get a scrap of basic white, which I'm going to stamp my letters onto. So one thing to bear in mind is, depending on which way you've done it, if you've gone that way, you're going to need to do HAPPY with the blue starting here. And if you've gone that way around, you're going to need your blue, your stamp starting on the red, not the blue. Okay, so that's the way around I'm doing mine. I'm just going to leave that in shot, so it's a little way of reminding ourselves. So we're just going to stamp our letters. So I've used this one here, which kind of has a solid line at the top and the bottom, and then a dotted line going down the side, but you could use that one, which is a solid line all the way around. And first of all, like I say, I'm going to use the red. And for this, we're going to stamp the outline, and then we're going to stamp our H. So I can leave that stamp on, and then I'm just going to need to look and find my H. Pop that on a block, and then centrally as you can get it, stamp your H in there. And then I can pop my red away. Then next I'm going to need my orange, so this is pumpkin pie. Again, stamp my outline first. By stamping your outline first, it just helps a little bit with getting everything lined up correctly. And now I've got my A. And next we've got Daffodil Delight. And I'll make a note of all of these colours in the comments so that you can see what I've used. So next we're going to have our orange outline, so a yellow outline. And then we've got our P, the first of our P's. Then we need our green, which is Honey Apple Green. So outline first, and then another P. And then finally Y. Now I don't have a colour that coordinates with this card, which I think was Pacific Point, but I have got Night of Navy, which works fine with it. So I'm just going to do a Night of Navy outline, and then a Y. So if you haven't got the exact colour that coordinates with the card, it doesn't matter too much. You can just take a similar shade and it should be fine. So our next step then is to use our punch and to just punch all of those out. So when you put it into the punch, you should obviously get that little white outline. Make sure you've got it up, lined up straight. If you don't have the punch, you could fussy cut them. Not too difficult a shape to do. Oops, I just lost one. There we go. Apologies for the dog barking. Okay, so we're just going to get those stuck on now. So I've attached them with dimensionals. So just one standard dimensional on the back. And then I've positioned it so half is on the red and half is on the grey. Just try and make sure you get them straight as you stick it down. So same with the A. And my yellow. And finally the Y. You could stick these just down with Tombow if you'd prefer, if you want your card to be flat for posting or anything. But I think it's quite nice to raise them up if you can. It just gives it a bit more of a 3D look. And then the final bit to do is just to pop birthday down here. Now it's quite difficult to find a birthday on its own. So from the Artistically Inked set, I found the happy birthday there. And I'm just going to try not to ink up the happy. If it's very difficult to do that, then you could just use a piece of washi tape just to cover over the bit that you don't want. But thankfully with this stamp, happy and birthday are quite far apart, so it worked quite well just to be able to ink up one. And I'm just using the white pigment ink for this. If you've got a bit more time on your hands, what you could do is you could actually heat emboss it with white ink, but for the purposes of copying card where we tried to do it a bit more quickly, just stamping with white ink worked better for us. So there you go, birthday just stamped in the corner there. And that's the card finished. So just bring that back so you can see the other ones. So there you can see you've got the different designs slightly depending on whether it goes to that way or the other way, but quite a quick card, ideal for children. You could stick a number on there if you wanted, and that would make a nice birthday card for children of a certain age, or equally for an adult as well. So just a quick recap, we used a basic grey base with strips of blue, green, yellow, orange and red, some basic white for stamping out our happy, and then birthday used from another stamp set, just stamped at the bottom in white. And I'll put all of those details, especially the dimensions, in the comments on the video so that you can check those if you'd like to have a go at recreating it yourself. So we're going to take a little break from Coffee and Card for the next month or so, and then I will hopefully be back in a little while with some Christmas Coffee and Card ones, as it's getting to that time of year when we need to start getting our Christmas cards made. So thank you for following me, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.